Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3. I wish I could put my music on, but Facebook doesn't like it when I do that, so I'm just going to dance a little bit, just kind of get that energy flowing. Welcome to day 3 of the Sovereign Woman. This has been the most incredible couple of days. So for those of you who are have been here for days 1 and 2, let me know in the comments. Hey Claire, let me know in the comments if you were here for day 1, if you got the replay, if you were here for day 2, or if you've got that kind of scheduled for listening to, because these replays are only going to be available here in this group until April 30th. And then I'm going to be pulling them off because they're actually going to be part of another opportunity that I'm creating to be launched probably sometime in June. So this is your chance. And if you know any women that might benefit from any of the content on these 3 days, please tell them about this group and ask them to join the group. Don't just invite them, but ask them to join the group, because I really keep this group pretty sacred. And I don't like to have women that are really, that are not where they want to be. And I appreciate you having friends, but have them come through the gates. Have them say yes to themselves. So Claire says, I've caught the replays, enjoyed listening. I'm so glad, Claire. I am so glad that you are able to listen to the replays. You're just kicking ass online, and it's just, I love to see women activated. I love to see women just saying, this is me, this is what I'm doing, I'm going for it. Because it just lights me up. It just lights me up. And I've been fortunate because I've been in the online business world for, over 5 years now, I think. I have to check my timeline. It's given me this opportunity to watch women grow and shift and change. And the other thing that I was really kind of thinking about today was there's also been a lot of women that I've seen over the years that are gone. They're gone. They're just not in the online world anymore. Now, this could be for a variety of reasons, but so often what happens is we come into this online world and we see everybody having all the successes, and we think it's going to be super easy because that's what the course names say. The course names say we can make 10K in 10 days, and then we get disappointed when we don't. And what I have found in the work that I've been doing for myself, with myself, on myself, in also, therefore, the work that I do with my clients and in the programs I've run over the years, it really comes down to, again, it's not about the strategy pieces as much as it's about us doing the inner work. And so this 3-day masterclass series, Becoming a Sovereign Woman, is really with the intent of you recognizing that the success you want, the desires you want, all the things that are out there come from you looking at yourself, you being the one that makes the changes. You change those around you. And hey Cherry, thanks for being here. And so that's why I am just so super passionate, and why I've been called in these last few months to literally kind of shift my business. I can teach all you want about growing your social media audience, being on social media, all the business structures and strategies, and creating programs, creating content. And what I find, and I love it, I absolutely love it. And it's a great resource, but it is not the only thing that you desire when you're trying to grow a business. It truly comes down to doing the inner work. So just to kind of recap, on day 1, we talked about what is a sovereign woman? What does this really mean? And for me, what it really means is that I own every aspect of my life. All the mistakes, all of the challenges, I walk through the fears, I lead myself through all of this, and I embrace the celebrations. I embrace the successes that I have. And I also am open to all of the opportunities that the universe puts in my pathway when I choose to not listen to my head. I also believe a sovereign woman is someone that leads with self-compassion, compassion for myself. I give myself grace. I love myself. And in turn, this allows me to be compassionate for others, to love others, not from the standpoint of trying to fix. Because that is one thing, as you're on this personal development journey, again, it's not taking one course on how to tap into your inner child. It's not about the fixing of it. It's not like I'm going to take that and be done. This is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing journey that we are on. And you can choose at any point in the journey to just kind of say, I've had enough. I'm good. I've learned a lot. I've elevated myself. I've totally shifted and changed, and I'm going to go out and be a different woman. And that's fine. And just take that step back. But you can also choose to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's where the magic is. That's where the light comes, the spark, the flame, it becomes a bonfire within you of the passions. It literally lights your passion up. Claire says it's definitely not easy, but so worth doing the work. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other key thing is that it's a practice. It is not, I did this and now I'm good. And I'm telling you this from my personal experience, because everything that I share with you, whether it be on the marketing and business end of it, or whether it be on the spiritual side, or whether it be on doing this inner work, it's coming from my experience. Because I truly believe, as a good mentor, as a good coach, I can only share from my experience. If you wanted the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, you can go find a book about that. You can Google it online, for God's sakes. But I am, as a coach and as a mentor, here to lead you, to give you my experience, see what works for you, what sticks for you, what isn't for you, and that's totally cool. But it allows you to collapse time. It allows you to grow quicker. It allows you to receive the income quicker and greater chunks of income, if you will, on a monthly basis. So that is why this work to me is so important. Hey, Allison, because it is the expansion within, and it is the recognizing that it's a constant practice. Absolutely a constant practice to really continue to move forward and not be, swayed by what might be going on, not be swayed by that post that we saw someone make, not be swayed by the standpoint of someone posting that, I made 100K this month, and you being automatically triggered and going, well, I'm just doing things wrong, so I can't do this. Because they're triggers. But they're triggers to allow you to grow, not triggers to allow you to stop. So day one, again, we talked about a sovereign woman who really is someone that owns every aspect of her life. She walks through the fear. She makes fear her friend. And I actually love it. I love being on the edge. I love when fear creeps up for me. When I get that little mindset that says, I don't know. No one else is doing that. That, for me, is the catalyst. That allows me to say, screw it, I'm going to do it. Because if we learned anything about last year and currently what's going on this year, there is no way to do the world anymore. There's no way to do our lives anymore. It's whatever we thought we knew is now being given to us as this freedom to do whatever feels good for us, that's aligned for us. It's okay to be an individual. Totally okay. Wasn't okay maybe 10 years ago. So today, and then yesterday, just to recap again, yesterday we really dove into the masculine and feminine aspects and the energies and just what that really means. Because again, the masculine and feminine in the context that I'm using today is really not about the gender so much as the energies. And within every one of us, children, men, boys, women, doesn't matter what your age is, there are these aspects. And what so often happens is we get imbalanced. So we talked about that. Today, what I want to really kind of dive into, and it's kind of a lot, so I'm going to make sure I stay on track here, is really being able to bring this into that practical piece, be able to allow you to integrate these concepts that we've talked about in the last 3 days into the business world. How does this really factor into, creating more wealth, showing up in my business? What does this really, really mean? And so what I want to be able to give you today is just, again, I want to be able to give you some activations. I want to be able to allow you this opportunity to say, that hit me. It's like, ooh, that would be something for you to just dive into and take a look at. Because so often our coding has always been from when we were a little child. And all the things that we were told, especially as little girls. And, I remember even in the Catholic religion that I grew up with, there were they had 10 commandments of things you could and couldn't do. And oh my God, they were just like drilled into us. I mean, I can remember if we didn't have them memorized, then we weren't getting a good grade. And, one of them is, we don't talk. We're not there to speak. We are there to be quiet. We're there to honor our parents. Now, to some extent, I see that, but as little kids, as we grew up, we honored our parents so much that we really could only take in the energies and the modeling that they were giving us. We didn't necessarily know any different. So the way that, our father treated our mother, the way our mother treated our father, the comments that our mother might make about, oh my gosh, don't ever depend on a man because you can't depend on him, and you go to school and you get your own degree, and, all these things that came up have been part of our coding and have been brought forward generations upon generations. And so this action that is now and where you are being called to is an opportunity to change future generations, to not keep perpetuating these stories, these limiting beliefs, this, you have to work hard for money, and women should be seen and not heard, and, all of the things. So today, what I really want to kind of just give you some concepts that you can take away, apply them, play around with them, if you will, see what works for you, what may not. But I want to be able to give you some of the activations to get you thinking, to get you sparked, to get that kind of like, ooh, wow. So let's talk about, yesterday we talked about right side and left side of masculine. And I just want to kind of recap. The right side is your masculine influence. This tends to come from, it's not always the case, but it tends to come from father figureheads. Could be our grandfathers, could be uncles, could be older brothers, could be our father. And it tends to come from that direction. It could also be, which was the case for me, because my father was gone. He literally left us. So that right there is an imprint on me. But I then went immediately into the corporate world. And so my father figures and some of the beliefs and things that I picked up came from my bosses who were male. And, again, having that lack of any kind of male leadership, I really latched on to some of their beliefs and some of their the ways that they treated me in business by basically, I had one supervisor that told me I was never going to get into the income levels that they were at because I didn't have a college degree. So I carried that with me for so many years throughout my corporate career. Well, I can only get so far because I don't have that college degree. Talk about guilt and shame and feeling less than for many, many years. And so being out of balance is usually seen in your overgiving. You are people pleasing. You are, and it can come up, be triggered by trauma, by abuse, by just ways that men in the world treat us. And everyone has their own experience of this. So there's all different levels and depths and things to this extent. But where this will show up in your business is always overgiving, undercharging, giving discounts, feeling like you need to give that friend of yours, who's been down on her luck and she doesn't have the money. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to let her in my program. And it's really that people-pleasing thing. And the people-pleasing part totally translates into how you are showing up in marketing. Because when you are trying to please everybody, so let's just say you have a Facebook group, and you know the dynamics of your Facebook group, but as it grows, the reality is you don't know the dynamics because everybody is always moving and changing. But our mind says, oh, I know my group. My group is not going to buy a program for $555. They're just not. They're not good. My group isn't. And so we tend to say, you know what? So I'm going to price it a different way. And that's where that people pleasing comes into play, because you don't know what other people are thinking and what they're going to buy and not buy. And it also comes into the people pleasing. And I did this too when I, first came into the online world 5 years ago. My first program was, I wanted to help everybody. So my message was so broad that because I was trying to please everybody, that it ended up being unclear. So this translates into your business, and this is really, really a key piece. If you are trying to do a post, trying to do a Facebook Live, doing a masterclass, creating a course, wanting to attract clients of all aspects, and it means that you 100% are not clear on who you really want to work with, because you are not sure of who you really want to bring in. So it's kind of like your messaging gets diluted, because when you're trying to please everybody out there, it's not going to be on a frequency to attract in those that want your specific message. And it's not really the niching down, because I really don't buy into any of those kind of concepts and strategies. This is really so much about, what is your message right now? If you are 100% connected to source and channeling and knowing what your purpose is and willing to stand in your truth, be that sovereign woman, then you know that whatever your message is right now, that's what you show up with. That's who you are going to talk to. And trust that the right women are going to hear you. And not be so worried about trying to fit this whole realm of people and pricing and, oh my gosh, but I don't think people are going to want 7 days. Do they want 21 days? It's like, you're going to go nowhere. And I shouldn't say go nowhere. You may get some traction, you may get some income, but it's not going to be sustainable, because you are the one that are calling in the women. So do I want to teach this program in 21 days or 3 months? And you set the boundaries. You are the leader, because that is what women are looking for. They are looking for someone to lead them. And you don't have to be the expert. I talked about this yesterday. It's not, your experience is the only certification that you need. You don't necessarily need, let me take that back. There are certain modalities, certain energy concepts, certain like NLP and doing some of the energy and the breath work and working in some trauma related aspects, that yes, having the education, having a certification is going to help your clients in a much healthier manner, quicker manner, if you will, more directive. You're going to know how to handle all the nuances. But for the most part, if you are a life coach, a business coach, a transformation coach, health and fitness, to some extent, you also don't necessarily need some of the certifications. You just need to know what's worked for you, and you be that person that shares your experience. And the out of balance masculine is going to have a difficult time giving. So I see this also in business coming up as, well, why would I do a Facebook Live and give away my free information that's in my program? It's like there's this is this fear of lack. This is another tendency of being out of balance in the masculine, being too masculine, I should say, is we lack. It's like, oh, I don't want to give that away because that's in the program. What are they, it's we get ourselves so caught up instead of just showing up and sharing the message, being of service, giving value, and trusting that the right people are going to come back to you. Because here's the thing, and I've seen this in the programs I've offered. I've seen this with my clients will report back to me too. And it's like they did a masterclass or they did a Facebook Live on whatever one of the topics of their module was. And they showed up and they talked about it. And people heard that message, right? It goes into the internet world and some people hear the message and they don't, and we don't always know, and that has to be okay. But the flip side is then they come into the program, and that's what one of the modules is, but your module is going to go so much deeper into that same topic. So you're not giving away something. This is this imbalance of the masculine, of being in competition and, oh my gosh, I can't let her know what I'm going to do. I don't want to give away too much because then why would they pay me? So that is a piece of it. And also the key first indicator of being in too much of the masculine energy is stress and burnout. Hustle. Working. I gotta work. I gotta grow my business. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. If I'm not in my, I've got a launch coming up. I've got to do that for 60, 70 hours a week. I mean, I have seen women over the course of the years, because this used to be the way to be successful, was to be in that masculine energy. And there were this big to-dos about launches and, oh my God, I need to take a week off after a launch because I'm so stressed out. And they would have team members stressed, and it was all this extra hustle that was actually preventing them from really opening up and receiving. Now, some of them are very successful, and they're still, I will say that the few that I know from years ago have shifted out of that hustle mentality, or they've burned out. They've taken a year or two off, and now they're back in a different mode. So there is this opportunity to shift and change. And we grow, we change every day. We can make a choice, and then we can make another choice, and then we can make another choice. So going to the feminine, which is the left side, which is the mother aspects. And again, this could be older sisters, teachers, our mothers, our grandmothers, aunts, whatever kind of female person that really had an influence on your life, certainly when you were younger. And so when you're too much sort of in the feminine, and again, this can come from one of the key pieces that this comes from too is neglect. And while neglect can trigger some of those masculine overachievers, neglect for a little girl could also be that she gets small. She's very quiet. She's not sure of, she didn't have that love, that nurturing, that ability to love herself or know what that even meant. And so it's sometimes the wallflower, it's like she's there, but she doesn't have a voice, and she's very meek and mild and timid, if you will. And so the feminine is all about creativity, and the feminine is all about receiving. So much more. The feminine is also nurturing, but not to the point of giving up herself. And, so this goes back to the definition of a sovereign woman. She's compassionate with herself. She loves herself. She nurtures herself. But she also can then, because she's filling her cup, she's able to be that person for whoever is around her, her kids, her spouse, her partner, her friends, her clients. So the feminine, when we're out of balance with the feminine, it will show up as I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. It's like, who would want to know my story? I want to help other women, but, I had kind of a normal life. Who's going to want to know that? I don't know that I'm enough. I see all these other women out there and they're awesome and amazing, and I just don't, I don't know how to help. And it's really this throat chakra. It's the connection between the heart and the throat chakra that really needs that activation, really needs to be worked to open up, to understand that your creativity in your sacral is what absolutely will nourish your soul. And again, not necessarily from the doing piece, from the thinking piece. It's truly being able to just say, what do I feel like doing? And so often when we're not in alignment with our feminine, or when we have too much feminine, we get walked over. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of love. You might find yourself in relationships where you get taken advantage of. You don't feel that you can receive the money, or people maybe take money from you. You receive money and somehow it goes, this is something that happens with mothers, especially, especially in later years. If they don't have that nurturing, if they don't understand the boundaries, adult children, come into play. And they don't know how to have healthy adult relationships. And it's this whole dynamic. It's so hard to be able to really kind of condense this into just an hour discussion. But so that's really the imbalance. So what I want to show you, though, is why we want to balance. Why we want to balance. And I'm going to just take a second here to give you some other examples, because it's not just balancing the masculine and feminine. It's in our lives, in our world, there is the polarities. There is the opposites. There's night, so there can be day. There's the sun and the moon. They work together. There is salt and pepper. There is black and white. There are all these dualities that are in our world, our life, our person, that go ebbs and flows. The tides. The tide washes out, the tide comes back in. It is this natural balance, this ebb and flow, and it's finding that sweet spot, if you will. And it's not to automatically get there and say, okay, I'm here. I am perfectly balanced, because then life's going to throw you a challenge. And the universe, the universe knows, the universe listens to us. Whether or not we really think so, we are manifesting on a daily, minute-by-minute basis. And I know that sounds crazy, and manifesting, that's a whole other kind of aspect and topic. But if you are thinking that you're not going to have enough money this month, then guess what? You're not going to have enough money this month. The universe listens. It's like, not enough money this month. So very often tapping in to this balance and recognizing that we're going to get these challenges and being able to navigate through them is where you step into your sovereign power. And you walk with the fear. You let yourself be bigger than your fears. And you recognize that the fears are just something in our minds that are trying to keep us safe in this comfort zone. But I'm going to tell you, the magic, the life, the money, the expansion, the dream lifestyle, the cars, the houses, whatever it is that you desire is outside of your comfort zone. Absolutely, positively. Is it scary as shit to get there? Absolutely. But that is where the magic is. And this is where being in a network of women, being in a community, being in a mastermind, working with a mentor or coach is so beneficial, because you're going to know you're not alone. And they're going to keep you kind of moving forward, if you will. So as the CEO of your business, and this is something I really want you to take away from this today, if you don't take away anything else, is, do you have a hobby or a business? You know, many of us, myself included, started with growing our business while we were still in corporate. And I say this because whether or not that is your transition, it still lets us have a little bit of that hobby mentality, because we have the comfort zone of a 9-to-5 paycheck to fall back on. And I learned this because that was kind of what happened to me. I plateaued. And I was really trying to grow my business so I could leave my 9-to-5, but I didn't recognize initially, until I did some work with one of my coaches, that I was actually mentally knowing that I was making enough. And I always had this other paycheck coming in. So it wasn't until I left my 9-to-5 that I then started recognizing that, okay, this is a different realm. This is where I need to be. And my hobby business, my part-time business, all of a sudden became, this is it. I have no interest in looking for another 9-to-5. I better really stand up here and treat this business like a business. So I challenge you to, every now and then, ask yourself, if you're wondering, where are the clients, where's the money, what am I going to do, you know, all the things, and you're up here in your head, are you truly being the CEO of your business? If you were to go to the CEO of your 9-to-5 job and say, well, I don't know, we're not really selling anything, it's like, what would the CEO tell you to do? What would she suggest? What would she say? Would she say, you know what, this hasn't been working, let's just start over and try something else? So it's important, when we're looking at the balancing of the masculine and the feminine energies, to recognize that when they're in harmony, when they're working with each other, that is where the expansion comes in. That is where the growth, that is where the money and the clients come from. So it's much like the analogy I gave you yesterday. It's like, I like to see it as a river. And the masculine is kind of the framework. Now keep in mind, again, a river moves. It's not walls. We're not talking about a canal. This is a river. And things ebb and flow and move, and things, you know, that edge might get eroded, and so there's more expansion for the water to flow. But the water needs the river, otherwise the water just kind of goes everywhere. So working in harmony together, the feminine can be receiving when the masculine does what the masculine does, but you can't allow one or the other to be running the whole show. It has to be within harmony. And that's where you eliminate the stress and the hustle, by taking that step back and recognizing that you don't have to be sitting in front of your computer to make the money. That's that masculine drive. Oh, I can't take the afternoon off. And it's like, bullshit. You can. Because when the goddess is happy, that's where the creativity comes in. That is where you're going to show up on your lives. Sure, some of your lives are going to be in a lot more of the masculine perspective, and that's fine. But if they're always in the teaching mode, if they're always in this masculine, I got to do this because I got to sell, and where are the clients and where are the people, and oh my gosh, only 5 people are here and nobody liked my if you're constantly doing that, you are restricting the flow. So the feminine needs her expansion. She needs to go for the walk for 4 hours in the afternoon. It is okay. We don't need to live in that mentality that we were taught and brought up in of working 40 hours to get a paycheck. That's not, when we decided to be an entrepreneur, we gave up the I work this hour, I make this much money. It doesn't happen that way. In like this, you could have $20,000 in your bank account. You absolutely could. It's happened for me. It's magical. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch my PayPal number just kind of like, whoop, there's an extra $20,000 from a new client that just signed up. And so it happens like that. There's no way for me to equate how many hours I worked for that 20,000. We just don't, we let go of the illusion of time, and we recognize that money is truly energy. And as vibrational beings, we are in a different realm. And when we show up as our sovereign self and speak our sovereign truth, that is how we attract the right clients, the women, to us. Now, here's the other thing in the balancing of this. So the boss is, I like to look at it as two. I'm not good, one of my coaches has the boss, the badass, and the goddess. And I agree with that, but for this purpose, I'm just going to give you two. There's the boss, there's the masculine, and there's the goddess and the feminine. Well, the boss is the one that looks at, what are we going to do for these next 3 months? What are we going to look at for the next 6 months? What do we want to be doing? And schedules out, or at least has a vision, as I call it. I don't necessarily prescribe to the concept of goals. Whole other discussion. But so you need the boss. The boss needs to show up. I mean, imagine being in your job if you were in a 9 to 5 and there was nobody kind of leading the show. The boss needs to show up. But the goddess is the creative one. The goddess is, the boss may say, you know what? Let's look at this. And maybe I want to do a mastermind. And then working with your inner authority in your human design, working with your intuition that you've been working on and nurturing and building up that trust with, it's like your boss and your goddess have this little discussion. It's usually done through journaling. It's usually done through meditation. At least that's my experience. And it's like, what do we want to do? The goddess goes, I really want to do a mastermind. The boss goes, that sounds kind of cool. What would that look like? And you kind of balance the two. Well, I don't know. The boss may say, well, let's do a 6 month. And the goddess goes, no. For me, it would be my sacral. It'd be like, no, way too long. Not 6 months. Well, how about 3 months? It's like, that sounds really good. Let's do 3 months. And the goddess and the boss basically says to the goddess, well, you know what? Play around with that a little bit. Do some journaling on it. See what kind of comes up. And it is that creative energy that says, you know what? And you kind of come back to the boss and you go, okay, here, I've got it. Here's what feels good to me. Let's do it for 8 weeks. We'll do 2 months. And we're going to focus on doing the inner work, and we're going to not focus on any business strategy. Goddess is like all excited. I don't want to do any business strategy this time. And so the boss says, okay, let's go for it. You look at the calendar, you pick a date, and you just do it. You don't overthink. The boss doesn't overthink. Well, I don't know, it's the end of April. And if I start it today, if I start talking about it today, then that means next week. It's like, no. That's where the overdriven masculine energy is creeping in. Because the true boss will say, well, let's look at the calendar. When do we want to start? And the goddess says, oh, let's start here. And the goddess is the one, in some respects, that should be showing up in most of your lives. The goddess should be writing your posts. The goddess is the one that will allow you to attract in the right clients for that program. Because if the goddess is excited, she's all about building relationships. She's all about nurturing. She's all about the compassion and the love and the excitement and all the things. She's the one that's going to hit those frequency levels of the women that are looking for whatever the content is. And one of the things, so that's kind of an overview of how the balance works. But remember, it is constantly changing and shifting and ebbing and flowing. And it's not a one done deal. Oh, we're balanced today. This is awesome. It's going to shift and change. The goddess is going to have her days where she doesn't want to do anything. It's like, I don't really want to do anything. So great. So the boss says, well, I know, but okay, fine. So then maybe you just do something different that day. And you give yourself the grace to be in your sovereign power, to stand in your integrity and show up as you said you were going to show up, and you just do it different. You just do it different. You are the CEO of your business. Now, being the CEO of your business does not give you the permission to procrastinate, to say, oh, you know what, screw it, today's not a good day, I'm just screwed, or I've been talking about my program for 3 days now and no one is buying, and so I'm just going to not do the program. You do not get to do that as a CEO. You could, but are you really in integrity with yourself? Have you really aligned yourself with your messaging? Have you really been visible? I hear this so often from clients, and I was talking with someone, I think it was last week, and it's the typical, well, it's April and I haven't made any money. I didn't make the money I wanted. And I literally asked her, I said, well, what do you have available? What's out there? Let's work on your messaging. What do you have going? What programs? And she really had to say she didn't have anything. So again, the masculine is, well, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? And meanwhile, the goddess has been kind of stifled. Like, she probably wants to create something. She probably would love to do a program. She would love to be, but it's been like, nope. Where's the money? Where's the money? And we forget we need to actually have things out there to sell. It'd be like having a storefront and saying you have a boutique and you want to make money and your boutique is empty. There's no products. So it's the balancing of having a vision and having systems in place only to the extent that are going to be able to give you the mechanisms, the structure, the framework to receive the money. But it's not this framework that's going to make or break your business. And you could have the best program out there, and I don't even care what the price is. You could have the best program out there, like earth-shattering new information that you've downloaded. If you're not letting people know, if you're not visible, if you're not writing posts, if you're not sending emails, wherever your audience is, if you're not showing up, no one's going to know about it. It's not that whatever your packages or your work that you're doing with clients or your energetic sessions or your astrology readings, it's not that no one wants them. It's that, do people even know about them? But our minds will say, see, no one wants it. And I'm here to suggest that you really put on your boss hat and say, but are we really offering this to the right audience? Are we really offering this? So, and then being willing to make a shift. Oh gosh, I'm doing astrology readings, and the only places I've been promoting this have been on LinkedIn. Well, LinkedIn, for the most part, is very masculine driven, very career driven, it's a whole different game. I don't know how many people on LinkedIn are really going to be interested in astrology readings. So then, between the boss and the goddess, you make this decision. You know what? Let's go find places where people that would be open for astrology readings hang out. And let's start being active in those groups. So the whole business world, and one of the reasons why I hope this is one of the reasons why you decided to, hey Stacy, why you decided to be an entrepreneur is that you wanted that flexibility, you wanted that freedom, you wanted to be able to make a change on a moment's notice, not have to go to a committee. You wanted the opportunity on a Wednesday afternoon to go for a walk. You recognize you don't need to be in your office from 9 to 5. One of the key things I always suggest to my clients that feeling kind of stagnant and not having that energy flow is to go work somewhere else. And given, geographic situations and what's open and what's closed, like, for example, I love to work in coffee shops. Coffee shops are still closed in my area. So I find another place to work. But for those of you, go sit on your back deck and work. That's oftentimes what I do now that the weather is nicer. Get out of your office confines. You don't need to be in your office to do your business, just like you don't need to be in your office to receive money. Money comes when you're sleeping. If you have opportunities for women to hit PayPal or Stripe or whatever the mechanism is and send you money. So that is why it's so important to balance, because the goddess is the one that magnetizes. The goddess is the one that really builds these relationships. And that is how she communicates with other women. She loves to talk about feelings. She loves to talk about her emotions. And that is 100% how you can be the authentic sovereign woman, is that you're not afraid to show your emotions. You're not afraid to show both of these aspects, both of these energy levels. Yeah, you have boundaries and payment guidelines, and sometimes you have to, chase down clients or deal with those kinds of things. But the flip side is you're also a human. And maybe today was just a messed up day. It's okay to have those emotions and come on and share that. It is amazing to me for myself, and I see this sometimes happen with other women, and is the times that they show up and they're crying or they're just upset or they're, just saying, God, today just really, really sucked. I wanted to come and share with you. Those are sometimes the lives or the posts that draw more women in, because you're connecting with them. You're letting them see that you're human, and they feel that way too. It's so easy in this online world to see all the perfection. Oh, look at her. She's got her pink suit on. She's got all the props. She's got the video cameras and all the things. You don't know what goes on in her world outside of that. And yet the energies of those two, watching someone in that kind of format, you may not connect to them, because as a woman, that's not the perfect world. But if someone shows up and says, I'm really, really sad and I'm crying and it's really heartfelt and it's speaking and being vulnerable, that's how you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. But yet our ego says, oh, no. That's not professional. We don't want to let people know that we get sad. I'm just looking here at my notes. So again, the balancing is because letting go of perfectionism is key. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to say something. Your hair is going to be funny. You're going to have something in your teeth. I've done that before. You can't be perfect. And if you're waiting to be perfect, you will not move. Same thing with procrastination. If you continue to let procrastination lead you instead of you leading yourself in your integrity, and this is what I'm going to do today, and I trust that everything else will get done the way that it should, then you're not going to move forward. It's the connection with your heart and mind that really, really magnetizes the clients. It also brings in the abundance. It also grows your audience. And here's one thing I want to really say about growing your audience, because it's become a little bit of a pet peeve right now. Rather than thinking that you need to grow your audience, which means you don't like the audience you have, look at your audience and nurture and love them. Give them more. Don't keep thinking that you need more people. You may need some. I'm all about adding energy and getting rid of low energy within groups and things like that. But if your mission is simply, I need to add people, I need to find my clients, I'm going to really challenge you to say, you do not know that your clients are not in your group already. What I will say is perhaps you are not speaking on the frequency that's going to activate them to move. And the frequency that's going to activate them to move is when you are just showing up as yourself, speaking your truth, whatever your message is, and knowing that the right women are going to reach out to you. So, oh my gosh, we only have a few minutes left. So that's kind of, again, a really, really quick overview of being the CEO, balancing your business energetics, as I call it, and recognizing these nuances, recognizing how you go in and out of it throughout the day. It is a continual practice. Much like yoga, much like meditation, much like training for a 10K race, it takes practice every day. Someone training for a 10K race is not in the same energetic, physical, mental condition every day that they train. There's some days they have high energy. There's some days where, they ate a big meal the night before and that's affecting them. There's some days where it's raining out. So you're going to have this constant flexibility, this constant change, which is where the growth and the evolution come from. The concept that you pick a career and you stick with it and everything's going to just be perfect is really a bunch of bullshit that we were brought up with. And those paradigms don't work anymore because collectively in the world, women especially are not accepting those paradigms anymore. And that's why you have seen this shift, especially in this last year or so, of women entrepreneurs taking the lead. But they're doing it by leading themselves first. And now is the time. Now is the time. That's why there's so many more women. The more women that can show up, speak their truth, be open to receiving whatever the wealth is that comes to them, the more that they will be able to put that energetic money flow back into society in a great way, in a greater way. You may see these posts of women that, well, now I've hired a personal coach and I've hired a cook and I have a trainer and I have a housekeeper. And you may go, well, wow, But the thing is, that's because she has taken the challenge. She has decided that her life, she wants to change it. And look at the money that she can give back to other women who then take that to their family, who have a greater impact on their families. So when we look at women and we want to judge and we want to look at the wealth and we want to say, oh yeah, well, it must be nice because you have all these things, recognize that they didn't just wake up and have it. They had to do the work. They've done the work and they're going to continue to do the work. It is not a stagnant, there's no friggin' finish line. It is ongoing. So them being able to have made the shifts and done the work and received the abundance and the magic. Yeah, if you're just seeing them for the first time, it might look real easy, but you don't know what their journey was and how awesome that they're at that level that they can hire those people who, again, it's circulating the money. It's circulating the energy. And if you're receiving and not energetically putting the money back out in the universe, the universe won't continue to give you that flow. It's an energetic flow. It's not a hoarding. And it's not the end all be all. So what I wanted to just wrap this up with is I want to invite you, and I'm super excited about this. I've got 3 new programs and ways of working with me that are coming up. First of all, for those of you that are interested in private coaching, as of May 1, I'm kind of shifting my private coaching, and I've sent emails out about this and everything. But it's now going to be 3, 6, or 9 months paid in full. So we're not doing the monthly programs anymore. So that's one major shift that I'm making in my business because that's what I'm choosing to do. It's a model that's going to work better for me. But more exciting is I have a program that really kind of takes everything we've done from days 1, 2, and 3, and it's going to move you forward. We're going to go a lot deeper. It's an 11-day program, pretty intensive. It's all live. It's not recorded. It's called Divine Duality. And we are really, really, really going to look at the masculine and the feminine. And we're going to look at it in the context of ourselves as women, being that sovereign woman, and we're also going to look at it from the business perspective and really be able to allow you this opportunity to immerse yourself into truly understanding your personal triggers, your personal growth and depth, and what that really, really looks like for you, and how you can then translate it into showing up in a different manner online, social media, wherever your clients are, and with a different energy, with a different purpose. So this particular program is, like I said, 11 days. It is going to be a paid in full program, and there's also three payment option for you. Now, what's super, and that's going to start May 10th. The early bird on this is going to end on May 1st. The regular price is $555. The early bird is $444. So that's number one. Now, number two, which I'm super excited about, is going to really, really tap into the mother and father wounding. Most specifically, the mother wounds and how we can nurture our inner child, how we can repair our connection, really understanding where we got some of our limiting beliefs, who we are as a woman today. Do we even need some of that old programming? And translate it into how it has been holding us back in our business, in our world, in our love relationships, our romantic relationships, in our relationships with our kids. Because the mother wound, and I've just been finishing an intensive 3-month program with this, the mother wound is so key to our money beliefs. They're just interconnected, much like it then translates into the masculine and the feminine energies as well. Everything is all interconnected because we're just one person. We're one energetic being, but we've got this coding, we've got this DNA, we've got these pockets of old beliefs, old heart hurts that are stuck in our system, and we're going to energetically really activate them and let them go. So that's the inner sanctum, and that's going to be a 4-week program. The full price on this is $888. The early bird pricing on this is $777. Now, here's the key, and I'm so excited about this, is you can buy this as a bundle. You can buy this as a bundle, these two programs. They're very much will work together, but they'll work independently. And so the bundle price is $1,111 paid in full. And that is the bundle price that's only available till May 1st. So you've only got a few days. And I so firmly believe in this work, and I know the magic that has occurred for me and with the clients that I've been able to share some of this experience with. And it's absolutely next level. It will transform your business. It will open up those wealth portals very, very quickly. And it will give you this opportunity to truly, truly, truly let go of caring what everybody else says. It's going to give you this opportunity to own every aspect of your life, be that sovereign woman, and be you. Be able to just say, this is me, and this is who I am, and thank you for being here. And trusting that the right women are going to say, oh yeah, I like this. And those that don't align with it, it's totally okay. Because ideally, you don't want to build your business with women that don't want to be in your same vibe. You really don't. Trust me, I've done that. I've sold programs just to be able to sell, not so much to sell the program, but welcoming in women that I knew weren't ready to receive the information I was ready to give, and they feel like they're not getting what they expected. And it wasn't because I wasn't delivering and wasn't giving it. It was definitely the intent, but they were expecting something different because they were on a different vibe. They thought I would be the magic answer for them. I'm going to speak for myself, but I'll speak for other coaches. Coaches and mentors and programs are not the magic answer. You still need to do the work. And most of that comes with you being you. So you're the first to know about these programs. I haven't yet announced it. I will be announcing later today. And going back to the private coaching, if you still want the payment programs, you just need to make a commitment before May 1st, and we can still honor the monthly. But it's just something that feels right. It's something that feels aligned. It's where I know the level of women that I know are out there that really, really want this guidance, this inner work as well. It's the soul, the strategy, the success, the wealth, all of this together. And it is for that level woman. And if it's just going to be so magical. So the program's shifting, my pricing structure is shifting, and because as I move and grow, so do you. So thank you very much for being here for these 3 days. Let me know your thoughts, your questions. If you watch the replay, I would love to know you were here. And again, these videos are only here until April 30th, so I'll post something in the group as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you that have been here for all the days or one of the days. I'm just so passionate to get this information to you and watch you continue to be activated and grow and shift and change and stand in your sovereign power.